But first, the woman who fell in love with a teenage boy half her age. As a result, Tamara Broom found herself behind bars in the United States, accused of child abduction. The 31-year-old travelled to the US to be with the teenager after the pair had an internet romance. Eventually, police dropped the charge and she returned home. Tonight, Tamara Broom talks for the first time about her ordeal and her love for Jonathan Martini.
It was so much more than just infatuation.
Love on the net has landed an Australian woman in serious trouble in America.
We arrested her for abduction of children.
I do love him dearly, definitely love him dearly.
It's against the law and you can't do it, and you've got to stop these people.
You're nearly twice his age.
I just want us both to be happy, and I don't care how that happens.
It's a most unlikely love story. Tamara Broom, a 31-year-old supermarket checkout operator from Adelaide, and Jonathan Martini, the all-American boy from a strict military family, just 16 years old.
What could you possibly have in common with a 16-year-old?
We're both into gaming, and we're also both into... we just have the same ideals and the same... I don't know. Like, if you ever spoke to this guy, you'd see where I'm coming from.
Tamara met Jonathan here, in the world of Warcraft, an online fantasy game played by millions around the globe.
I played in lots of groups and he was in them frequently, or his family were in them frequently.
What did you like about him?
We've got a lot of comfort out of each other. We forgot about the rest of the world when we were together, so I think that was a big thing for both of us at that time.
The two would chat online every day, sometimes for 8 hours at a time.
What sorts of things did he tell you?
He was very unhappy. There was a lot of things going on in his life that he wanted to change and was too scared to do so.
His mum and dad wanted him to go into the Marines.
Yes.
He didn't want to?
No.
So you thought you'd help him get away?
Yeah, I thought I'd give him an option.
Tamara says she went to legal aid for advice before trying to buy Jonathan a one-way ticket to Australia. The airline wouldn't accept her credit card.
What made you think you know better than his parents?
I don't. I don't know any better than them, and I certainly can't have any input, and they shouldn't have any input. He should be the one who has the choices.
But you did have a lot of input. You tried to buy him a plane ticket to come to the other side of the world.
Yeah, that was the intention.
But Tamara, you were the adult in this situation. Shouldn't you have said to him, let's wait till you're 18 and talk about it then?
Absolutely. You have no idea how many times we tried to break it off and...
If you induce a minor to leave his, in this case, his family, it sounds like you physically abducted someone.
Tamara didn't realise, but the boy's parents had contacted police. Chief Lee Moore was the investigating officer.
There had to have been something going on, something more serious than just a casual relationship.
During their daily conversations, Tamara admits she spoke about sex with the boy.
We did talk about a lot of legal ramifications of him coming out here and what I'd heard, what was legal over there, what was legal here, etc., etc. So, yeah, it was brought up.
Age of consent?
Yes, that was brought up, absolutely.
Did you discuss marriage?
Yeah, that was brought up for legal ramifications.
But you're 31, Tamara, and he's 16.
He's 17, and yes, it's correct. But...
Can you understand why people might be worried that this is a predatory situation?
No, because there's no sexual involvement whatsoever, and there is no intention for sexual involvement whatsoever.
The next twist in this tale came a couple of weeks later when Tamara says that Jonathan's mother invited her to America. So she bought a plane ticket and left her home in suburban Adelaide and travelled halfway around the world to Pitt County in North Carolina. But waiting for Tamara at the train station were not only Jonathan's parents and family, but also officers from the Sheriff's Department, who arrested her for child abduction and threw her in jail.
And I just turned to John and said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Oh, no," you know, this huge look of shock, and that was pretty awful. That's pretty awful.
In recent years, we've reported many stories about forbidden love. Former maths teacher Robert Drummond was sacked for his affair with student Melanie DeCara, who was 17. Natalina Diodario was jailed for having sex with a 15-year-old student. And of course Karen Ellis, who was jailed for 6 months for having sex with a 15-year-old student.
Are you attracted to teenage boys?
I never have been. I didn't even know what he looked like when we met, so no, definitely not.
His parents say that you put ideas into his head.
If that's what helps them sleep at night, great, think that. It doesn't matter.
Back in the US, Tamara spent 29 days behind bars before finally pleading guilty to a lesser charge of aiding a delinquent.
To be in this tiny little backward town with no contacts, no power, that was terrifying.
The judge ordered her not to contact Jonathan until he turns 18.
I'm going to miss him dreadfully over the next couple of months. From a day-to-day point of view, like I had to go through a funeral and all that yesterday, and to not be able to come home and say to him, you know, this is what I had to go through. And I'm going to miss him terribly.
In the future, would you like to have a relationship with Jonathan?
I think I'd be crazy to let him go.
Ben McCormack with that report, and Tamara Broome says that she is no longer in contact with Jonathan Martini, who turns 18 in June next year.